Welcome back. World surfing legend Kelly Slater is convinced. So is a damaged war veteran, the father of a son with autism. And now, science looks like it's about to confirm it, the incredible healing power of the sea. Groundbreaking research into how ocean waves can change brain waves is helping doctors frame new treatments for anxiety, depression and other mental and behavioural issues. Here's Dan Hitchcock.
We spent a couple of months with a family. James, who's an Australian Afghanistan veteran who has PTSD, and his son, Johnny, who has autism. And they both go down to the ocean, they're both in the water, and their smiles come out. They're at peace, they're happy. It seems almost like their symptoms disappear.
It's a very interesting observation. The act of just being in the water could put your body into a state of calm. Every human being spent the first 9 months of their life inside their mother in a water solution. There's something very primordial about water.
Where do you think you'd be with your condition without surfing?
Divorced, I don't know. I'd hate to think. You pick a path of destruction, and that could mean me.
When you think of surfing, you're really talking about the ultimate state of flow. Surfing allows you to completely exit the past, the future, and narrow your entire focus to what is happening in the here and now. The Kelly Slaters of the world, those are flow masters.
I think it's the ultimate connection with nature, really. Wind created this thing for you to go have fun on. There's something sort of deep and philosophical about it, but at its most shallow, it's just a super fun thing to do.
Ask any surfer, and they'll happily tell you their sport heals just about everything. But you don't have to take my word for it, because now science is proving us right. It turns out that all this is something much more profound. Of course, that doesn't come to a surprise to those of us who are out here. Woo!
What's happening in floating, you're becoming one with your internal sensations. There's a tremendous drop in signal without medications and being done completely naturally.
It's amazing.
James Millis doesn't need a scientist to tell him this is good for him. Apart from the beard, maybe, James looks like a regular bloke surfing on the central coast of New South Wales. But James has a story he hasn't told before. A story that begins far from the gentle roll of the ocean.
Growing up, I just wanted to join the army, always did. I joined in 1992 as a 17-year-old while at school. I got told, you're going to medics, which was quite funny because I really sucked at first aid during recruit training.
In 2001, James was sent to East Timor with the Australian Peacekeeping Force. He returned home and transferred to the Army Reserves. It's a part-time position, so James went out to find a job on a different kind of battlefield. He became a paramedic.
Trauma and that type of thing was business as usual.
I understand the dispatch operators at that point in time were pretty special.
I think you're referring to my wife.
Didn't anyone ever tell you the golden rule not to get involved with work colleagues?
Yes, I've heard that before. Not to fish off the company wharf. Is that the one?
Yeah. That's the one? Yeah. So what was it about James that make you break that rule?
I don't know. I just admired him. He was good fun to have around.
So when was it that you got the call to go to Afghanistan?
We've been camping with a mate and we got the message off Captain H. He said, we're on.
I was pretty cranky. I probably shouldn't swear, sorry. Sorry. And he reassured me and said, don't worry, It'll just be like MASH. I'll be in the MASH, like, you know, Klinger and Radar, and he wasn't, turns out.
How worried were you about him?
Sick. It was horrible.
November 2008, Uruzgan province. What was the mission?
We deployed to find Taliban leadership and bomb makers, then eliminate them or capture them. Snipers and our engineered searchers were clearing a path for us.
That building.
So what happened?
Keep pushing about 100 metres.
An enormous explosion, and then it just became dead silent except for the dogs in the village that were approaching. Michael Fussell was killed by an ID blast. He was he was. I remember looking and he looked peaceful, to be honest. Like, he was in a bad way. I won't go into details. There's no need to go into details. 30 kilos of explosive isn't kind. Myself and my team stayed with him and till he was chop it out.
In November, we had a phone call from you. I was at your mum's place, and you said, "It's me, I'm okay, tell mum." And you hung up. Yeah, it's really hard because you don't know and you can't talk to the person that you love about how it feels.
When did you first know that something was different?
It wasn't me that knew. It was Emma.
You were really tense, like you were like a coiled spring all the time. You started having nightmares, and like at least a dozen times or so, I've woken up with him on me, like not hurting me, but ready to, like choking or like a fist clenched.
James had changed. He didn't like crowds anymore. He was hypersensitive to loud noises, quick to anger, and always on edge.
It's that readiness. You're constantly ready. Is the next corner you walk around going to have a guy with an AK-47 pointed at you?
What is happening in the brain of a person who is suffering from PTSD?
Well, I think what happens in a traumatized brain is it leaves an indelible memory. The sort of memory that will never go away with time. The memory circuits of our brain become structurally changed. An area of the brain known as the amygdala seems to be hyperactive, functioning in a much more heightened manner than in you or I. It's always on guard, in other words.
James was wrestling with the burden of PTSD. But that didn't stop them from starting a family. Sienna and Johnny.
When did you find out that Johnny was going to present an extra challenge for you?
So he was 2 and a little bit, and he was diagnosed with autism.
What does this do for your condition?
It didn't help. I would just disappear. Here's the noise, here's the struggles, and I would just leave Emma with it. I would just disappear surfing.
James had been an occasional surfer. Now he was obsessed with it.
It was, without knowing it at the time, me self-medicating. Every possible moment, 10, 12, 13, 18 times a week.
Those anxieties, his PTSD, disappeared in the surf. All his senses, all his thoughts were concentrated on one thing only, the waves.
And then come home to a cranky wife. I just knew it was helping. I just knew I was feeling good doing it. If Emma had to go to work, I'd get anxious because I couldn't surf.
By accident, James made another discovery. Johnny's autism was also soothed by the ocean. A trip to the beach had become treatment for both of them.
Before I knew anything, I knew that we both needed water. It becomes From this little ball of energy to this focused ball of energy. You see his smile, whether he gets up, whether he rides it all the way in, whether he forgets to stand up. It's just this massive grin. I don't know what it is. If you could bottle it, you'd be a trillionaire.
So we better start with a description of your profession.
Sure.
What is a clinical neuropsychologist?
So a clinical neuropsychologist is somebody who tries to understand the way the brain processes the world and how it gets affected in mental illness.
Justin.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to finally meet you.
On the other side of the world, Justin Feinstein is applying science
So we have a lot of equipment here.
to what James discovered by chance.
Put this on your forehead. This is going to measure your brain waves.
Using a saltwater sensory deprivation tank, Justin believes the symptoms of PTSD can be reversed. No drugs, no surgery, not even a psychiatrist.
Calibrate the water to match your skin, and you calibrate the air to match the water. So there really is no boundary anymore between air, body, and water. When you're completely still and letting the water hold all of your muscles up, you enter into a very unique state where you can no longer tell where your body begins and where it ends. You almost immerse with your environment.
Here we go.
It's an intense form of meditation that turns down the area of the brain that's overactive in people suffering crippling anxiety disorders like PTSD.
What you see is a healthy brain showing activation in the amygdala. This is the same region that shows excessive amounts of activation in the brain of somebody who has PTSD. And then on the right, you see the brain scan of that same person after they've finished floating. And essentially what happens is the entire sort of signal emanating from the amygdala gets dampened down.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. One important similarity between floating and surfing is it allows you to enter into a state of flow. Any activity that will bring you out of that mind chatter and bring you back to the present moment is going to profoundly affect you. It's never been studied as far as I know. It would be great to see an experiment done with surfing.
Well, I think this is possible.
You're up for this?
I'm up for this, yeah. But there's no surf in Oklahoma.
We'll head back to where I used to live.
California.
San Diego. Beautiful.
So, next, San Diego and the great experiment. Can Denham show scientifically just how surfing puts the mind into the present moment and be a powerful therapy for broken soldiers?
In combat, you wait and you wait and you engage in this firefight, fighting for your life. But in surfing, you wait and then you engage in this pure natural adrenaline rush.
This is the brainwave pattern where the healing takes place. Now, watch what happens in real time while surfing. San Diego is home to an enormous military base called Camp Pendleton. The world's largest military force also has the world's highest rate of mental illness. Nearly 1 in every 5 returns home with PTSD. One of the most successful treatments they have is also the simplest: surf therapy.
Push up, slide that front foot forward, and you stay low.
Carly Rogers has been the therapist here for 11 years.
A lot of these guys and girls have been injured, and so they feel incapable, they feel broken. A little advice, and they get out there and they stand up and they claim it, it lights me up on a regular basis.
The program combines surfing with therapy sessions on the beach.
Coming up on 19 years of service, and something I've decided to let go was some pride.
Those are just the 4 guys that I've carried with me. I'll probably carry with me till the day I pass.
In combat, you wait and you engage in this firefight, fighting for your life. But in surfing, you wait and then you engage in this pure natural adrenaline rush.
Veterans are paired with instructors. Today, I'm helping out by teaching Matt. Matt is from Texas. Not a lot of surf in Texas. Matt was in Afghanistan, his job defusing roadside bombs, but he was almost killed in a freak accident, crushed between two trucks.
My left kidney was removed, my spleen was removed, 5 of my intestines were removed, and then the right part of my skull was crushed in. My whole right side of my head is titanium. My whole left side of my body, I have a loss in sensation on my left hand and my entire left side.
The hours go by and the bruises add up. But the man from Texas is determined to stand on his own 2 feet.
This catalytic change happens where they're rinsed off, they're riding a wave, and their eyes are bright and wide, and then they're moving forward.
At Camp Pendleton, they know that surfing works. Justin wants to prove it. Helping him is Ricardo Gildacosta.
So this device, the brain station, I can't get it wet.
If you get it wet, basically if salt gets into it, we'll lose the signal.
It'll kill it.
Yeah, we'll kill it.
The device, the same one used in the float tank,
Blank. There you go. So you have a good signal.
will measure and record my brain waves while surfing.
You're good to go, brother. Have fun out there.
Wish me luck.
The device monitors the 4 key brainwave patterns: gamma, beta, alpha, and theta. People suffering PTSD have increased activity in the top 2. But in deep meditation, they settle down and alpha and theta become stronger. This is the brainwave pattern where the healing takes place. Now, watch what happens in real time while surfing.
Keep in mind, of course, when you're doing something like this, we're capturing both mental signals and muscle signals, right?
Yeah.
It's everything together.
So everything's firing.
But you get
now.
everything firing, right? And you're riding the wave, and you can see that, just on your face, right? You're very focused, intense on what you're doing, right? You're executing, and you're very focused on that. And then the hang loose is when you're kind of feeling like, I'm done, and I'm relaxing, which we're gonna, so okay? And look at this.
And now, there it is. There comes the theta.
And now you're
Like
gonna
immediately.
Yeah.
And you enter that state, and it will continue. So this is similar to the patterns that we find from you when you're in the flow tanks. So you go to this relaxation period, and you go to this increase of gamma.
And what we're seeing here are clear indications of very profound relaxation responses happening in your brain, even in the midst of a surf session, and especially after the surf session is over. And so if you could imagine that somebody in a heightened state of stress is able to enter into those states, this could be very beneficial.
Fantastic. This is amazing news. I have more excuse than ever to get out in the surf.
Now you know it, right?
Does this explain why James, our Australian soldier, why he gets such a benefit from surfing?
If we could teach somebody like James how to enter into these brain states, then this is very, very promising.
Maybe a little something in the corner.
Nope.
Surf isn't very good here, but I know where it is good.
Where?
Hawaii.
Really?
I'd like to come to Hawaii.
Oh.
You and me on a plane.
What do you say? Of course. It'd be awesome. It'd be sweet. Be beautiful.
Pack your boards. We're gonna go and surf the North Shore.
Let's do it.
Next, we're at Pipeline, often known as the world's deadliest break. It's surfing's jewel in the crown, and it's where James has a close encounter with surfing royalty.
You look over your shoulder as you're taught, and there he is, just driving like with that back leg loaded like a kickboxer ready to go. And I'm just going, oh, there we go. I've just dropped in on Kelly Slater.
On the World Surfing Tour, Pipeline is the last competition and the jewel in the crown. For surfers, shallow reef close to shore and a wave like a guillotine makes it the world's deadliest break. For spectators, with action this close, it's magnificent.
Kelly Slater making his way down onto the beach.
can't take the smile off James's face. He's front row at Pipeline, watching his hero, Kelly Slater.
Jimmy, it's been a good comp, but I think it's just enough time to get a surf in before we leave.
You know it.
What do you say?
Oh, for sure, 100%. What a normal sort of Sydney surf crowd on a weekday, so.
Jimmy, it's been good surfing with you,
It's
but
been awesome.
someone else I want you to meet.
No way. Hey.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, I don't know.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, well, how are you?
Yeah, good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Shh. No way.
Thought we'd go surf my home spot behind my house here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just in shock.
That's all right. All good, man.
No way.
Yeah, it's good to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
These guys gave me a little rundown of what you've been through and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
so
Yeah, it's
looking forward to having surf with you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
This is quite the surprise.
All right. Now let's go for a surf.
Yeah.
All right.
The next 2 hours, James will never forget.
You regular or groupie? Regular. Yeah.
Here we go.
The memories come and go these days, yeah. But how I wish that they would stay.
You're in a unique position. You get to talk to and see these guys. You can tell they're a little bit broken. What happens when they get out there in the surf?
I relate that to myself in some way when I was a kid. You know, I grew up in a broken home. My parents were rocky for the first 10 years of my life and then split up. And, you know, surfing, I didn't realize it. I think only looking back now, as I got older, I realized, you know, surfing was kind of my solace to, it was the thing that made me the happiest, you know? It was like, surfing was always going to make me happy.
Damn straight it was a blast all the times we had. Now we never will regret.
I said to somebody once, I wish my life could be as simple as a dog running after a ball. And I'm like, wait, it is. I've just run after waves.
But how I wish that they would stay. We watch them fade away. The memories fade away. The times we had.
You look over your shoulder as you're taught, and there he is, just driving like with that back leg loaded like a kickboxer ready to go. And I've just gone, oh, there we go. I've just dropped in on Kelly Slater. And hold on, they've got how many angles on it?
3.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
4 cameras.
So
you're not getting away with it.
Oh, it felt good. For so many reasons, not the fact that like I've axed a world champion, but because I was on the same wave as like everyone's hero.
Oh, yeah, what did you do today? Dropping on Kelly Slater.
What would your message to James be?
To be honest with you, I wish this guy would win the lottery and to be able to just cruise and enjoy himself all day and not have to work.
You went for a surf with Kelly Slater today. I think he feels like he did win the lottery.
That's cool. I mean, I hope that helps in some way, you know? To see someone get on a wave and smile and be stoked, you know, just be beaming and, you know, have them tell you, like, that this is changing my life and for the better. This is something that, you know, will make me smile every day. That's pretty awesome.
And good news, Emma and James are expecting another baby due on the 2nd of March.